podcast, The Rebound, and what we're doing is Coach's death is the anniversary date is September 8th. So I've been going around looking for his players, coaches, managers, trainers that played or worked under him, and find out what they thought about Coach. And so, just starting with you, I mean, you're born in Lufkin, Texas.
Yes, sir. But
1960.
Yeah, now you just aged me. Yeah.
And you went to Jones High School in Houston.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you went to Jones High School, was it evident that you were going to be a basketball player?
Well, I was a better baseball player. I was a pitcher, junior high, and when you're that age, you only know fastballs. And my father thought I was going to throw my arm out, so he made me stop playing baseball.
Really?
So, but I let him. I remind my dad all the time that I would have been the big unit before there was the big unit. But just all of a sudden, I fell in love with basketball. Yes, sir.
I hear you. So, who recruited you to play at UTEP?
I might have to tell you, I was Tim Floyd's first recruit.
Is that right?
It was two of us who came here together.
Who's the other one?
Ricky Thompson.
Ricky Thompson. Now, I think a couple of my high school teammates played with you. Tim Crenshaw.
Yeah, you were on that team.
Yeah, and then Terry White played with you, right?
Yeah.
And Terry
Jimbo too.
And Terry White wasn't on the championship team though.
No. Oh, you talking about the WAC championship?
No. The high school. We won state in high school.
Oh no. I think Terry. No, it was.
Terry wasn't on.
Terry was on that team.
Not yet. No, he came the next year.
Okay.
So yeah, you ever hear from any of those guys?
Oh, Jimbo, of course. I talked to him all. He was my dentist, my kid's dentist, and wife. Tim Crenshaw, I run into him occasionally if there's something going on. And Terry White, I've lost touch with him sort of over the past few years. Yeah.
Yeah, he's up in New York.
Yes.
So you started UTEP in '79.
Yes.
How'd you break your leg in 1982?
On the roommate said a broken leg. It was never a broken leg. I tore a calf muscle.
Really?
I had a gastro tear. And that was coming off of the summer when I played with the USA team. We World Cup team. We won the silver medal. And coming back to my senior year, the next year after that summer was my senior year. And we were playing against New Mexico State. And I was having a great first half. And I stole the ball, came down, did a reverse dunk. The place goes crazy in the Haskins Center. And came back down and pushed off. The next thing you know, it felt like somebody shot me in the back of my calf.
Wow.
And tore it, just popped that gastroid muscle. And I tried to attempt to come back 2 other occasions. And every time within practice, I would do it. And Coach Haskins kind of told me to probably just best if I sat out.
Yeah. So I know that you played on the Pan Am team in '83, huh?
Yes, sir. That followed that next year when I tore my calf muscle, I had to sit out. And so by making that team, the World Cup team, you automatically one of the 70-something players to get a tryout for the 12-man on the Pan Am team. And set out that year and worked real hard. And I remember when I was getting ready to go to the trials, I told Coach I needed to see where I was as a player, and he didn't want me to go. He's like, Fred, I really would like for you to take off and not go. So fortunate for me, I went down there and was one of the top 5 players in the whole camp, and made that team and didn't even play that year. But really? I made the Pan Am team.
Yeah, did you play in the games?
Yes, sir. We're the last guys to win the gold medal as college players. That was myself, Jordan, Tisdale, Sam Perkins, Chris Mullins, Mark Price, Jim Masters. Yes.
That's a team.
Yes, sir. Last college players.
What was it like seeing Michael Jordan at that level?
you know, when we all at that age, you never in awe of anybody. You know, we there for a common goal is to win the gold, as you could say. And I mean, he was an athlete. You saw that. But you know, out of all the guys that I was really, really impressed with playing, and I use that term loosely, not impressed, but just like, wow, man, this guy's an athlete. Probably Wayman Tisdale.
Is that right?
He was left-handed. He was about 6'7" and a half, 6'8", and just incredible leaper. And he had he had to been about 250, 260, but very light on his feet and could really, really explode. And Jordan was just a greyhound, physique-wise, real thin and real muscular, and huge hands.
Yeah.
But, and then Mark Price, of course, I've never seen anybody shoot the ball like him. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your coach?
Jack Hartman, Kansas State. He was a good friend of Coach Haskins, too. They were just alike as coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you say he's just alike. What was Coach like?
Which one?
Haskins.
Oh, gosh, man. I remember.
How come everybody I ask, they start with, oh, gosh, man? David Lattin told me the other day that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes for practice, 15 offense, the rest defense.
Wow. You know, and I tell them they had it easy.
Yeah.
Everybody has it easy ahead of the next person. But, I mean, he was really, defense, but coming out of high school, you all come with attitudes and everybody think they're pretty good. But I would always hear the guys would say, you know, you just better be ready for the first day of practice. But, you know, you don't know what to expect.
Right.
Until you go that first day. And I tell you, my back never hurt so much for that first day because you're getting down in the defensive stance and you're using muscles that you had never used so much in a long period of time.
Were y'all in the WAC?
Yes.
So you had the BYU and all that?
Yeah, BYU, Wyoming. That's when Danny Vrains and Chambers and Ainge was with BYU, Vrains and Chambers with Utah. Charles Bradley was with Wyoming. Kenny Page was and Norm Ellenberger was with UNM. And I mean, that was really, I mean, we were scrapping in that WAC then those 2 years.
What do you think about where they are now? It seems like kind of soft to me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish, you know, not to get off the subject, I just wish we could get in that Mountain West because that's where the rivalries are. And those are some of the teams that, you know, I mean, who knows about Virginia,
Commonwealth,
whatever, and some of those schools at North Carolina, Charlotte. I mean, you don't even know who to dislike.
But you know, with the new NIL rule, I mean, it's really difficult because you know you get a kid that comes here to UTEP and let's say he has a great year, he's going to bounce the next year.
No, I don't know how that happened, and
it's horrible.
It's horrible. You know, the problem with that whole thing, I always felt, this is me personally. The problem is players. It's a big AAU thing. Oh, if I'm not playing, then I'm gonna go somewhere else and play where I can play. Whatever happened, busting your behind, working hard, and coming back and playing. You're just gonna go where somebody's gonna let you play. But getting back to that NIL, the problem is people are going to get away from working hard on that game, and what they're going to be working on is the social media. That's going to be the hardest work they're going to do, and they're not going to get back to their craft. That's the problem I have with this whole NIL crap.
But it's horrible for college sports.
I don't know how it got to this point, and I don't know if you can turn back now. Only thing I like is the part about, you know, these guys are getting compensated financially. I mean,
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. I'm trying to figure out how I can get mine with interest.
Yeah. So then, going through UTEP, then you got drafted by the Bullets, second round.
Yes, sir.
Was that another level?
Well, yeah. I mean, you go and probably one of the worst teams I could have gone to. Yeah. You have no control over that.
Was Was
Now,
Dave, was Dave Feidel there
no, Dave was after me. Dave was
after you?
yeah. Dave was a couple of years after me. But if you go second round now, man, you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
And back then it's different. They had a bunch of no-cut contracts, and and it was just the worst situation. And gosh, but you have no control. That you're going into a situation where, I was one of those tweeners, you say in between, where you're in between the forward and the guard. And you can't go in there and you can't think this position. You just got to come natural. And, and it just was a bad situation for me. And I mean, that's all I can say. It's just if I had gone to a better place that could have utilized me in a better situation, I would have been better off.
Was Phoenix a little better?
Yeah, Phoenix was. And going into the preseason, I fractured my finger. So they wanted me to kind of hang around at the end, but, I was just so, I got it just was, I was really depressed, and I was just like, I want to get away from, people want you to answer so many questions about what happened. And I just want to get the heck out of town. So finally, when I healed, I got my first contract to go to Belgium. And gosh, I loved Europe so much. I just never came back. I loved
Was the
Europe.
money good?
It was pretty good back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you play only 2 games a week. They pay for your car, your housing, and all I did was pay for my meals. But I always found a restaurant to give me free meals, so it was great. And get to travel Europe and learn the culture and the language. It was wonderful.
I mean, you end up in Spain, right?
So I was in Spain, France, Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, Israel, Argentina.
You did see the world.
Yes, sir, for free, and got paid to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So give me a couple of your favorite Don Haskins stories. You have any?
Well, I tell you once, I was, coming from, Houston, and, I picked UTEP over University of Houston. Those were the final 2.
What made the decision for you?
Well, I remember I've told this story only a few times. The night before signing date, Ricky and I were in University of Houston's University Towers Hotel, planning on signing with the University of Houston the next day. Now, remember, I'm in that hotel to sign the next day. You ask, well, how in the hell did that happen? You wind up here. Well, it was a third guy from our team named Jeff Roberson. And we were there in the hotel. Okay, we got decided. And, I really loved, Tim Floyd. He became a good friend. But when he got close, I was worried about my family, my parents, and I was just really caught in between. So he come to my hotel, our hotel that night about 11 or 12. Tim Floyd with my other buddy, the third guy. Ricky and I were in the hotel. So he said, well, if you guys are not going to sign, at least you can go to the hotel with me and tell Coach Haskins why you're not signing. So he's like, okay. So we went to the hotel. It was right across from Hobby Airport. Ricky and I walk in there. And here we see Coach Haskins in these red, they weren't even boxers, but they were tight and they were red, and he didn't have a shirt on. He didn't have socks on. He didn't have shoes on. And he's laying in that bed like, I guess, what's the guy from Family Guy when he lays kind of sexy, pretty much like that in those boxes. And he's like, oh, what the hell are you guys doing? I was like, well, Coach, I was pretty much concerned and just told him what I was. But he said, Fred, and he said, well, I can't change your mind, but, I've always come down. I have a good relationship with your father. Your father told me that he's never even met Guy Lewis. And he said, I can guarantee you, at least I can't guarantee you'll go play at the next level, but I guarantee you'll get your education. And University of Houston never told me that. And I went in, I talked to my father and that night, and my father told me, he's like, you know what, I wouldn't know what Guy Lewis looked like. He's never introduced himself to me. Now you go back for 2 years, University of Houston gave me summer jobs, never introduced himself to my father. And that made me think right then, he didn't have enough respect to at least go into my house one time and introduce himself to my father. And Coach Haskins been to my house maybe 3 times. One time I came home and he was sitting in the living room with my father drinking Chivas Regal. So I always give them, I told my father and him one time when they were together after I got through playing, I said, you know, Coach, you guys sold me up the river for a fifth of Chivas. So, but that's pretty much it. And just talking to me like that and laying it out there and told me he would guarantee that I would get an education, and I did. Yes.
What'd you study?
I studied criminal justice. I always wanted to be in law enforcement. Yes.
And what are you doing today?
Well, I was a state trooper for 9 years here.
Yeah.
And, now I'm in sales with Gale Insulation. I had my own insulation company, Sun City Spray Foam Insulation,
yeah,
for 14 years.
Yeah.
And, with the pandemic and all that happening, it was just with chemicals, and I just had to shut it down and sold to my company, and that way I came on as a salesman for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. So that's a good Coach Haskins story.
And then a second one, you say two, so I'm gonna give you another one.
Okay.
One time I was a freshman, and I always I was the 6th man coming off the bench, and I just wanted one night to be in that starting lineup and hear my name starting at forward from Houston, Texas, Fred Reynolds, or Lufkin, Texas, wherever they were gonna say. So one time I was feeling pretty good about myself, so I went to Coach Haskins' office. I was like, Coach, can I speak with you? He's like, yeah. And he sits back in his chair, and I told him, he's like, well, what is it, Fred? I say, well, Coach, I'm just worried. Why can't I think I'm doing pretty good. And sometimes these guys, I'm not going to get into who starts in front of me, but I think I'm good enough to be starting. So I'm just going on, and he's not saying that. He had that toothpick in his mouth. You know how he sits there, and he's sitting there, and he's listening. And finally, after about 10 minutes of my spiel, he says, well, Fred, you're the 6th man, aren't you? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, kind of crucial points of the game, aren't you in the game? I was like, well, yes. He said, well, you play quite a bit, don't you? I was like, well, yes. He said, well, why in the hell should it matter whether you start or not? You're playing, you're contributing, and you're very important to this team as a freshman. Why are you complaining? And really, I didn't have an answer, because that was right. I'm looking I'm wanting to hear my name, Fred Reynolds, running out there in the starting lineup. But there again, he kind of explained to me that it's not that important to hear your name, because your name is being out there because you're out there playing and contributing. So,
were you a freshman then?
Yes.
Yeah. When did you start? Sophomore?
Sophomore, on and off. Yeah.
So what were my high school guys like? Crenshaw?
Jimbo was oh my God. Jimbo and Tim Crenshaw, they were the evil twins, because we had this drill called the shell drill. And we go through, Coach Haskins would have the guys, you couldn't dribble or nothing. You just had to set picks and get open, and that's how you learn to move without the ball. And God dang it, those two guys they could come off picks and they would punish you with jump shots. Nothing quick about them, but they could come off a pick and stop and shoot, and they hitting baskets, and coaches yelling at you and screaming at you, and you're the worst player in the world. And they just laugh, because see, everybody goes through this, and I just thought it was just me. But they were great. To this day, Jimbo was very, very important, because he always talked, and nobody had egos. They were always there, and they were great teammates. Not only that, they were great in teaching you how to be college players, how to make sure you go to class and then represent yourself well, because they were those type of guys. Yeah. They didn't have to say it, but I saw how they carried themselves.
Which one of those two guys played more?
Maybe Tim Crenshaw, maybe. Yeah, but after I figured it out, Tim didn't play anymore.
What do you mean?
Because I took over his position.
Oh, did you?
Tim didn't play. Once I started figuring out how to play defense and coaches, you have to go through that where, oh my God, I don't know what the heck's going on. I can't figure out the offense. Once I figured it out, then, it was tough for him to get some playing time.
You took Tim or Jimbo's place?
Also Tim. Jimbo, Tim, they didn't play as much after my freshman year. They didn't really play as much.
Yeah. What was your starting five? Do you remember?
Well, my sophomore year when I started 3 times, it was like, it's according to who we played. If we would play UNM, I would start, and probably it was maybe Julius Wayne, Virgil Kennedy, Roshan Amy.
Yeah, Roshan.
Anthony Burns. Terry White and myself. It kind of according to who we played.
Yeah.
And then, then my junior year was all the time, my junior year, but I think it was my junior year, my sophomore year, I started a few games. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to who we played, because I was a very good defensive player, and I figured out that was going to be a way for me to get out there
and do it. Huh? So it's true that with Haskins, defense was first.
That's what made me make those USA teams. I knew everybody go there because they were going to get invited because of what their averages was. Everybody could play offense, but only a handful could play defenses. And that's what I did. Making that USA team, I guarded Jordan, and every guy I guarded, I made sure if they did score, they really had to work at it.
Yeah. Well, great. Let's see if I got anything else for you. I think I've covered it all.
People may ask, and I've been asked that several times, why would you pick UTEP over University of Houston? It's a number of things. First of all, when I first came to El Paso on a visit, man, they took me up in Scenic Drive, and I had never seen anything like that, overlooking the city, the lights, and going to a game and how enthusiastic it was. Although they didn't win a lot, I saw the enthusiasm. The people just wonderful. Oh, just people. I mean, and it never stopped from the time I stopped playing. People are pretty much genuine here. You are the team. I was very lucky, my senior year to be, we got as high as 4th in the nation. You remember that?
Wow.
And we had some very good teams. And that's the last time they've been ranked that high was my senior year. And we really, really beat some great teams that year. But, just being genuine to people and how they supported the basketball and came, you couldn't go anywhere. And people recognize you and they supported you. And that's all you could ask for. And people
the Mexican food didn't hurt, did it?
Can't find a better machaca plate anywhere in the world.
At Lucy's Restaurant.
Kiki's,
yeah.
And crab enchiladas, L&J's. Where can you go wrong? Those two places.
Yeah.
Well,
Fred, I want to thank you for the time. You've been wonderful. And once we get this thing produced down, I'll send you a link, and you can watch it. Anything? You have any final words?
Well, like I always say, I was very, very fortunate. You tell me, Coach Haskins, he was hard. And I had the greatest experience after I stopped playing for Coach Haskins. We became very good, close friends. My sons got to go. We would go to his house. He'd be in his bed, and we'd be sitting there watching Westerns. My sons knew my college coaches. How many guys can say that?
Yeah.
He would talk to my sons. I'm sitting there, and he'd be talking to my sons.
Well, you bring that up. My co-conspirator in this podcast is Beto.
Is who?
Beto.
Oh, Beto.
Crowfoot.
Yes.
Yeah, he's my co-conspirator.
Okay.
And now he can tell a Haskins story, huh?
Yes. Oh gosh, that was he and Coach spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, lots.
Yes, and I tell you, that was a great experience. Knowing that you had a coach, and up until he passing, I always had a great relationship with him. As a state trooper, I pulled Coach over a few times just to give him a hard time. I remember one time, the first time I pulled him over, I go up to the truck, I knew it was him. I go up to the truck and I said, "Sir, I need to see your driver's license, proof of insurance." "Hey, Fred, how you doing?" I said, "Sir, I'm asking you for your driver's license, proof of insurance." So you should have saw how his face changed. And he was about to give it to me. I said, "Oh, Coach, I'm just kidding with you." He's like, "God damn, Fred, you don't scare me like that." So we would always, and I go pick him up sometime, and we go driving around this truck and just talk. I tell you, it was some of the greatest. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this one last story. We gotta go, and you won't believe this story.
Okay.
I was a state trooper. I was way out in outside of Fayetteville, probably about 30 miles outside of El Paso. So I just got a call. I'm on duty. I got a guy who had hit and run, and I got called in, found the guy, and had him handcuffed. So here this pickup truck with these guys in it. They come up, and I thinking, "Oh man, this is how it is," because you never know what's going on out there.
Right.
About 6 o'clock in the morning. So I see this hand wave out of the passenger side, waving me to come over. I'm thinking, who the heck is this out here? 6 o'clock in the morning, wanting me to come over there. So, I'm popped my gun. I was thinking, okay, here it go. So I go up to yeah, who is this? Coach Haskins. So he's with 3 other guys that getting ready to go do some hunting. So he said, "Hey, Fred, how you doing?" I was like, "Coach, I'm doing all right. I'm kind of busy." "Hey, you got somebody handcuffed?" "Yes, sir." "Well, let me see who it is. I think I know him." Here I am bringing the prisoner over to the truck to see if Coach knows him. And I take him over there. The guy's kind of wobbling around, and he's like, "Oh, no, I don't know him." And I'm thinking, of course you don't know him. The guy's coming from Fort Stockton somewhere, Coach. So here it is. And we just sit out there talking. I set the guy on the ground and we talk in a few minutes. And, it just never stopped. I had so much respect for him, so much. I'm bringing a prisoner over to his truck to see him.
Yeah. Did you ever go to Columbus with him for enchiladas?
Never did that. Yeah, but I'm familiar with that place. He would always go. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I haven't asked Beto yet, but how did that start, that relationship? Because those two guys are totally different guys.
I don't know how they, I just knew that they were friends. I never knew how it happened.
I mean, but they were together every day.
Yes. I mean, coaches, I've been out a few times. I've seen him at a few places and shot pool. Have you ever had a chance to see him shoot pool?
No.
I had heard about it, and I saw it. Incredible how
Where
he
at?
run a table. Oh, he run a table.
Really?
Yes.
And he would sandbag, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, he was a hustler.
Yeah.
I could see it. I mean, I was able to spend those kind of moments with my head coach without him yelling at me like, "God damn, Fred, you can't pick your feet up. You can't guard a hat." I didn't have to hear that. I was out there with them, and I on an even level field, and just having a great time with them. And we didn't even have to talk about basketball. We were just talking, and I really, really enjoyed those days.
Yeah.
He was part of my. When I had my organization, the Apostle Lightning, the AAU teams, he came out, he took pictures, and he talked to the kids. And I mean, it's just incredible. I was so lucky and fortunate to have him in my life after I played for him.
How was your AAU team?
Oh, they were great.
Were you competitive?
Oh, they were very competitive. They won championships. That was one of them.
Yeah.
And we traveled. We traveled from, we went as far as California, all the way to Louisiana, Texas, all over Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, New Mexico, Arizona. I mean, we tried Las Vegas.
Wow.
And we did very well. We won a few championships, and it wasn't about that. It was just I wanted the kids to get that experience.
Did any of those kids go on and do anything else?
Someone went to some small schools, but I mean, I always said I had my IBMs, my itty bitty Mexicans.
Yeah.
They were great and competitive. I just couldn't have. I never had a 6'6" Hispanic kid. You know, they were always 6'2" and 5'11". But man, they were the impediment of what Haskins. They were running my offenses when they were 11 years old that I ran in college. I had kids from 10 years old all the way up till they graduated high school. My teams, yeah, and they were wonderful kids, and they always made sure they had good grades before they could play with me. You better have at least a C plus or B average. And I saw report cards, and it was so much fun because we were giant killers too. So it was great. Yes, sir.
Well, that's awesome. You've been great, Fred, and I thank you again for your time. And I'll be getting you a copy.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a pleasure you're having me. I'm sorry we had a little difficult time getting on, but this was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And Joe Gomez, you can't say enough what he's done, not only for UTEP, but for basketball.
Say it again.
Joe Gomez has done so much.
Hey,
I want to mention that.
Joe's one of my best friends.
He is the greatest. I don't think he gets enough credit.
I had dinner with him last night, and he doesn't get enough credit, especially what he's done for the 66 team. I mean, rings, watches, you know. Yes.
It's a shame he's not recognized more.
Tell me a little bit before, since Joe's a good friend of mine, tell me about Joe. Was he just always there?
Oh, always been. Ever since, he's one of the few people that's known me as long as I've been here. I mean, as the years go by, it's only a few people remember me. Joe knows, gosh, he knows some crazy girlfriends I had, Joe, and I laugh all the time about some of the things. He was always at the dorms with us. He knew every player that's come through from the 66 team up until now. He knows players. People don't understand how important he is to the university and to the basketball program. I hope someday he's given the credit that he has.
What would that look like for him to get the credit?
I just think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if he should be.
The UTEP Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not in that?
I don't think so.
He should be in that.
He should be. And it's a shame that some people are that has not done half the things that he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he advocates for everyone. I think somebody needs to advocate for him, and I want to be the first one.
Yeah. He's a wonderful guy.
He's incredible what he's done for the university, for the basketball program. And he should be ready.
Yeah, well, he'll see this and he'll be grateful for your comments.
No, he's a dear friend. He knows my son and my sons. He knows my wife. Joe and I consider him a close friend over the years. He's been wonderful to me. Yes, sir.
Well, very good. Well, again, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'll tell Joe hello.
All right, Doug. Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.